Hello and welcome to a video where I tried to read an inhuman amount of books before leaving so I wouldn't have to move with them, and that project somewhat failed because it was doomed to fail from the start, but I read some of them. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, congratulations. Probably for the best. No, I did record a video that I look exactly the same because I'm doing a twofer where I went through a thrift haul of books that was too large. But I was like, they all sound so good, I have to have them. So I thought I need to read them then so I don't leave with them. And I've done okay. So today we're going to talk about the books I did read. And yeah, let's go through these. There are 6 here. And I do want to say I have 2 in progress that I can give my current thoughts on really quick, but they're in progress, so obviously that could change. Let's do Celeste Ng's 2 books that I have. I have Everything I Never Told You and Little Fires Everywhere, both about arguably incredibly emotional, sometimes devastating moments in families that, you know, depending on how the family treats it, whether they talk about it, don't talk about it, buried under a rug, how that plays out for people. That's kind of what I would sum these up as. Everything I Never Told You is the story of a Chinese American family living in small town Ohio. Both these take place in Ohio. Which I love because it said the author's from Ohio and it's like, write what you know. I love that. The oldest daughter, who is 17, goes missing and it does ultimately become found dead in the local lake of their community. And it tells you all of that in this. I promise I'm not ruining anything. So it's kind of the story. She was definitely the beloved child, the child who had many, many hopes and dreams from her family. And you get to kind of hear perspectives from every person in the family. I would say Celeste seems to do that a lot. You kind of hear everyone's perspective, which I really enjoy. And I find it's not overwhelming or confusing. So you hear everyone's perspectives, everyone's inner monologues at points, everyone's thoughts and feelings, including the 17-year-old at points as they're like flashing back to points in life. And yeah, it's a very emotionally moving book. There are, of course, very difficult topics in here, in both of these, by the way. But it basically boils down to when horrible, awful, unfortunate things happen, how people react to it, the expectations we put on people, the emotional dumpage or emotional reframing we do around loved ones, etc., etc., and kind of how that plays out throughout life and affects people differently. And these both follow that. I enjoyed both of them immensely. And apparently Little Fires Everywhere is now a Hulu series, which, like, do I watch it? I don't know. I really enjoyed the book, but I don't want anything to ruin that. So I would rate these like a 3.5 to a 4. Like, they're not the best thing I ever read, but they're really solid. And like, I think most people could read these. Again, as long as you're like emotionally okay. I am going to be totally honest, because this jumps around 2 families and a bunch of different characters. The description of the novel made it feel like it was going to be very much the moms of the 2 families and their relationship. And it is, but it's so much more. Like, it's how this mother, Mia Warren, and her daughter Pearl, quite frankly, just their existence absolutely destroys this family's perception of what life is. Like, just their existence, like them living somehow disrupts their life, because everything just needs to be like perfect and this and that. So it's their impact on everyone in the family, and I feel like the description maybe focuses a little too much on the mom. I know that's like kind of, she does direct the story, but if that makes any sense, I feel like it's so much more than just like what they describe here. Next, The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. This is a self-help book / memoir, and I wish self-help books were written like this more often, and I can't stop saying that because normally I can't read self-help books because their tone pisses me off and they're just very repetitive and like it feels so like rule booky, and I just think that's really a wrong perspective to take in terms of self-help. That doesn't mean no one can get anything from them, they just clearly don't work for me. But I found this really interesting, and just alone, it's called The Happiness Project, and then the subtitle is Or Why I Spent a Year Trying to Sing in the Morning, Clean My Closets, Fight Right, Read Aristotle, and generally have more fun. And Gretchen Rubin lives in, I believe, Manhattan, or at least Brooklyn or something, like New York City. And she one day is like, I just don't appreciate my life enough. Like, I know I have a good life, but would I consider myself like a happy person? Like, that's kind of the battle she faces. And so for 12 months or a year, she decides, I'm going to focus on different parts of my life. I'm going to try new things. I'm going to try things that everyone says you need to do to be happy. I'm going to try like mindfulness, meditation. I'm going to try better, was better eating part of it? I don't know, but like yeah, it definitely was a whole bunch of stuff that everyone says you have to do to be happy. And I sum it up as a journaling experience for a year, but that was gone back over and put in a synopsis so that she can be like, this worked, this didn't, this was this experience, but like I found this interesting and I learned this and I did this, and I thought it was just really enjoyable to read. There's nothing majorly profound about this, only because I don't know if I say that because this is a topic I just mentally think about a lot. If it's a topic maybe people are talking about more versus when in like whether the social circles I'm in, or maybe when she wrote this, maybe that didn't feel like as much of a thing that people talked about, like, am I grateful for my life? Am I truly happy? Like, blah, blah, blah. This was published in 2009. So I do say that, but like I enjoyed reading it, and I think it's a really good like Kickstarter of like analyzing how you kind of go about your day to day. She does admit, like, she's not trying to do anything profound. She is not trying to write new rules of happiness. She's not trying to like prove anything. She's not even trying to say she had a bad life before and has a good life now. It's really about kind of analyzing your circumstances and seeing what you're able to do about them and how you react to those circumstances. Next is The Magician's Elephant by Kate DiCamillo, which I don't even think I mentioned in the haul. It's illustrated by Yoko Tanaka, because there are small illustrations throughout the book, so apologies for that. This is a children's book, and it says in the flap that the author is the author of The Tale of Despero, which is what sold me. That sold me. I haven't read that book in a really long time, but I remember thinking it was magic. So I had to read The Magician's Elephant. This is obviously geared towards children, but it was a very cute read. It was very sweet. I would absolutely just like, God, if I was a kid, read this to me. You know what I mean? Definitely recommend. It's very cute. Like, if I knew anyone with like a younger child, I would be like, read this to them. It's just cute. It's heartwarming. It's cute. It's a little magical. The general idea is that an orphan has been asking this question. I don't know if they give him an age. He can't be more than like 9, but he's kind of asking himself this question of like, I know I had a sister, like, does she live? If she does, how do I find her? And one day this fortune teller pops up and he's like, I need to know, does my sister live? And she's like, she does. And you can find her if you follow the elephant, which made no sense in any capacity until the next day an elephant literally falls out of the sky during a magician's performance. And it's kind of this whole thing, and it's just really cute. Like, it's cute. Next one is The Benefits of Being an Octopus by Anne Braden. This book, also, I feel like I apparently went for relatively easy to read and will emotionally destroy me. That's the theme I went for and was drawn to in these books that I picked out. So 7th grader Zoe has her hands full as she takes care of her much younger siblings after school every day while her mom works her shift at the pizza parlor. So Zoe's the main character, again, 7th grade, and basically she's been given so much responsibility in life just because of life circumstances, and she's trying to like handle it all. She knows she has much more responsibility than most other kids her age. She knows she has very different life circumstances than kids her age. But she's like just gotta do it. I gotta keep doing it. Like, people are depending on me. And she's in 7th grade. Like, that's what kind of breaks my heart the whole time. It does seep into family issues. Also, it definitely touches on emotional abuse and kind of like circumstances people can fall in once, you know, who are just like trying to do their best, who unfortunately just have really unfortunate luck or are in a bad way financially and find themselves in situations to just like try and be safe. Like, it does touch on a lot of that, but it is so good. And kind of the driving force behind all of this is that she has a teacher who like can see there's like more going on than like what's on the surface, and encourages her and basically forces her to join the debate team, so that she can kind of like gain some confidence, gain some conversation skills. And in doing this, she kind of starts to analyze the world around her through like a debate, and starts to see who's having a real argument, who's just like saying mean things to like basically attack a person instead of actually have a conversation. Like, it kind of gives her a new lens on how to see those circumstances her and her family are in. And it's really good. And she's obsessed with octopuses. It's cute. It's very heartwarming. It's also pretty upsetting because the whole time I'm just going, this is a 7th grader. And it's like, you know people are in unfortunate circumstances all the time, but she's a 7th grade. Like, you just want her to like be happy and live her life. But anyway, definitely recommend that. Like, probably a 4.5 star, honestly. Very good. And then last is The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. This book, I'll tell you, I read like the first page and I was like, I'm gonna love this. Just the writing, I knew I was gonna love this, and I did. Another probably like, again, 4.5 star. Like, not like perfect, parts of it started to annoy me, but as a whole, like, loved reading it. And it is about an uncle named Patrick, who affectionately is called Gup, or Gay Uncle Patrick, by his niece and nephew. He is a sort of out of the spotlight actor who still lives in Palm Springs, has sort of decided to become a recluse, somewhat, as much as you can be, a very rich recluse, after a very tragic loss in his life, who he just like never recovered from years later. And he, unfortunately, his niece and nephew, whom he adores, their mother, who used to be his best friend, passes away from cancer. And basically, after a bunch of stuff happens, he ends up having to be their parental guardian for a summer. And he is like in no way like ready to take it on, but does. And it's very funny. It's very heartwarming. It's very cute. It's everything. Of course, it's more about families kind of like fighting through things, learning to connect, learning to actually communicate, learning to heal together. And it's very hard. It's just very endearing, and I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because lately I've been big into YA, or just out of YA. Like, a lot of the characters I'm reading are like young, as pretty much seen in most of these books. And this was like a very similar concept, but like up a level, because he's like probably 50. And so, you know, it was just like nice to read the similar style of work I've clearly been drawn to lately, but from a older perspective. One qualm I have with it. Patrick is one of 3, the uncle is one of 3 kids. Obviously his brother is the father to these children, whom he needs to like go away for a bit. So that's why Patrick has them. And then they have a sister who you can tell they've just like, they keep bringing up that they've just never gotten along. Like, never. Like, not that they hate each other, they've just never had a good relationship. Like, kind of the 3 of them as a whole, but also just like the sister's always been the outcast one for whatever reason. And the only thing that drove me crazy is that all you knew about her, like honestly I thought she wasn't even gonna play a part in the story, and then she just kind of shows up and does play a part, but then disappears and doesn't play a part. And the only thing you know about her the whole time is that like when she was like 12, she read a book about the patriarchy and decided like, I'm gonna burn it down. which I'm all for. I'm all for that, but that was like the only thing you knew about her. That was it, was that she like hates men. That was it. Like, that was her whole persona. And again, you knew so little about her that I thought she wouldn't matter, and then she did. And so for a bit there, like, Patrick and the sister are feuding, and it all boils down to, she's like, all men suck, like, you just don't get it. And he's like, well, I'm gay, so I do get it. And that's kind of just what everything boils down to, which I'm not saying that's not like an argument that could feasibly happen. It just felt like we're gonna keep hitting the same nail, and it's the only basis to everything, and that's it. And maybe I'll be honest, like, maybe I just didn't get it. That's fine. That's my only complaint. Like, it didn't even ruin the story for me. It was just like, after a while, it was like, you're not gonna give me anything else about her. Nothing else. First book of the two I'm currently like in progress on, that I'm hoping to finish before leaving, but I can't guarantee it, is You're an Animal, Viskovitz by Alessandro, Boffa, translated to English by John Casey. I am just confused on this book. So it says that it's a wildly modern riff on Ovid's Metamorphoses. I haven't read that. So maybe if I would have read that, I would understand what I'm getting myself into. Maybe I need to read this and then go read that and be like, am I crazy? But a whirlwind of ironic fables in which the central hero, Viskovitz, continually changes identities in pursuit of his one true love. So every page, 2 pages, 3 pages, he is a different animal, creature, organism, and in almost all of them, he is seeking out this love interest. And it really just like, again, I think I just don't get it. I'm about halfway through it, and at this, okay, no, I'm not. I am like a third of the way through it, and I've just been trying to force myself to read 1 or 2 of these a night, but this was in the children's section. This is definitely not a children's book, but I feel like between the graphic front, which I do like the illustration a lot, I think they just assumed it was a children's book. It is most definitely not. But I feel like I need to read this, and then I need to do a deep dive on this author and go, what the fuck is going on? And that's all I can say at the moment. So there's that. And the other book that I know I'm gonna love, like, I'm confident I'm gonna love this, and if that changes, I will be devastated, is The Love and Lies of Rukhsana Ali by Sabina Khan. And I actually found like a pre-publication proof of it. Like, this had been given out to like read and review prior to publication. So there might be like things that are different in here. The cover might be like, I have no idea. I haven't looked it up at all. But I'm about 40 pages in and I'm loving it. A 17-year-old Rukhsana Ali tries her hardest to live up to her conservative Muslim parents' expectations, but lately she's finding it impossible to do. Okay, I'll just keep reading. She rolls her eyes when they blatantly favor her brother and saves her crop tops and makeup for parties her parents don't know about. Luckily, only a few more months stand between her carefully monitored life in Seattle and her new life at Caltech. But when her parents catch her kissing her girlfriend Ariana, all of Rukhsana's plans fall apart. And again, 40 pages in, I'm obsessed. I'm feeling for this girl so hard. I like want her to win. Like, I want her to thrive and live a great life. And we haven't even gotten to the drama yet. There's clearly chaos happening on my road. So that is the end. I'm super excited to finish these 2 books. Well, I don't know about excited, but I'm intrigued to finish this book, and I'm very excited to finish this book, and I have a lot more to go in case you haven't seen the haul where I talk about all of these books. Hopefully it came out before this, but I do just a quick synopsis on all of them. And yeah, so there are 9 more that I haven't even talked about today, which is really exciting, and hopefully I read them immediately and then they can move on to a better home. But that is it. I'm out of breath. Once again, I feel like I say that at the end of every video because I don't know how to pace myself. But thank you so much for watching and listening, being here, hanging out. If you read any of these, or yeah, let me know. Thank you so much again, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.